Hi everyone, I am Dokken and welcome to Living in the IT Era, Chapter 7 entitled Information Resources, Control and Privacy. So, what are the learning outcomes for this chapter? One is to identify the characteristics of information as a resource. Two, discuss information control and intellectual property. Three, recognize the major parts of Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines Republic Act number 8293 and analyze the concepts of information privacy and assess how it affects daily online activities. First, let's talk about intellectual property. Intellectual property or IP is the number of distinct types of intangible assets for which a set of exclusive rights are recognized. Intellectual property refers to creation of mind such as inventions, literary and artistic works, designs and symbols, names and images used in commerce. I'm sure you are very familiar with the figure shown on the slide. IP is protected in law by, for example, patent, copyright, and trademarks, which enable people to earn recognition or financial benefit from what they invent or create. By striking the right balance between interests of innovators and the wider public interest, the IP system aims to foster an environment in which creativity and innovation can flourish. Next in line, intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights are the rights given to persons over the creations of their minds. They usually give the creator an exclusive right over the use of his or her creation for a certain period of time. According to Republic Act number 8293, an act prescribing the Intellectual Property Code and establishing the Intellectual Property Office, providing for its power and functions, and for other purposes. This consists of the following: 1. Copyright and related rights; 2. Trademarks and service marks; 3. Geographic indications; 4. Industrial design; 5. Patent; 6. Layout designs of integrated circuits; 7. Protection of undisclosed information. Let's now move on to copyright. Copyright refers to the legal right of the owner of intellectual property. In simple terms, copyright is the right to copy. This means that the original creators of products and anyone they give authorization to are the only ones with the exclusive right to produce the work. Copyright law gives creators of original materials the exclusive right to further use and duplicate the materials for a given amount of time, at which point the copyrighted item becomes public domain. Digital rights, on the other hand, is the permission of individuals legitimately to perform action involving the use of computer, an electronic device, or communication network. It is particularly related to protection and realization of existing rights in the context of new digital technologies, especially the internet. What is digital rights management? Digital rights management, or DRM for short, refers to a range of technologies used to control access to digital media. As entertainment content has shifted to digital media, content producers, copyright holders, and hardware makers have increasingly turned to DRM as a way to protect their content from unauthorized use, such as piracy, and to preserve traditional revenue stream. DRM is used by many major content producers, software, and hardware vendors. Some examples include Apple, Microsoft, and Sony. With the introduction of technology and the internet, the print age is slowly becoming obsolete, with publishers shifting to the digital age. We have four classifications of digital rights management. What are those? Just remember the acronym sets. S stands for serial key. E stands for encryption. T stands for tag embedding. S stands for scrambling. First, let's talk about encryption. Encryption is a process that encodes a message or file so that it can only be read by certain people. Encryption uses a process to scramble or encrypt data, then uses a key for the receiving party to scramble or to decrypt the information. Encryption occurs every time someone uses an ATM or buys something online with smartphones, makes a mobile phone call, or presses a key fob to unlock a car. This is done so that information being sent is kept safe and secured. Next, serial keys. These are also known as product key or software key, alternatively referred to as an activation code, CD key, product ID, registration key, and serial key. A product key is a group of numbers and letters that helps prevent software piracy. Software that requires a product key cannot be installed on a computer until a valid number is entered. One such example is Microsoft Windows OS. A product key is used to activate the operating system online. Online activation helps maintain software authenticity by making sure no one else has used the same product key. Next in line, scrambling. Data scrambling is the process of deleting or complicating confidential data, a method that is normally carried out by database administrators who want to preserve the confidentiality of the data. This process is irreversible so that the original data cannot be obtained from the scrambled data. It is done to hide sensitive information from unauthorized users. A good example of this is a DVD player which can only be played by licensed DVD application. If a pirated DVD was able to recognize by a DVD player in your computer, certain applications or programs needed to play still might not allow it. Next in line, tag embedding. Securing data is becoming more critical and more difficult to accomplish as embedded application development has increased in complexity, especially when different communication protocols are incorporated into embedded designs. Similarly to how pictures can include watermarks to denote information on the owner of the picture, tag embedding does the same to information content. Next, patent. A patent is an exclusive right granted for an invention. In other words, a patent is an exclusive right to a product or a process that generally provides a new way of doing something or offers a new technical solution to a problem. To get a patent, technical information about the invention must be disclosed to public in a patent application. The patent owner may give permission to or license other parties to use the invention on mutually agreed terms. The owner may also sell the rights to the invention to someone else who will then become the new owner of the patent. Once a patent expires, the protection ends and an invention enters the public domain. That is, anyone can commercially exploit the invention without infringing the patent. The exclusive right granted to patentee in most countries is the right to prevent others from making, using, selling, or distributing the patented invention without permission. One example of a patented design is that Apple's iPad. Let's now move on to trademark. A trademark is a word, a group of words, sign, symbol, logo, or a combination thereof that identifies and differentiates the source of the goods or services of one entity from those of others. A trademark protects a business brand identity in the marketplace. Registration of it gives the owner the exclusive rights to prevent others from using or exploiting the mark in any way. Aside from being a source identifier, a differentiator, quality indicator, and an advertising device, a protective mark may also bring another stream of income to the owner through licensing or franchising. For marks with geographical indications, a notice stating that a given product originates in a given geographical area as a mark are identified based on the place, region, or locality attributed. Most popular trademark based on locality here in the Philippines is the Pampanga's Best Delicacies logo. What is a trade secret? Trade secrets are intellectual property rights on confidential information which may be sold or licensed. In general, to qualify as a trademark secret, the information must be what? Commercially valuable because it's a secret, be known only to a limited group of persons, and be subject to reasonable steps taken by the rightful holder of the information to keep it secret, including the use of confidentiality agreements for business partners' employees. The unauthorized acquisition, use, or disclosure of such secret information in manner contrary to honest commercial practices by others is regarded as unfair practice and a violation of the trade secrets protection. Example of popular trade secrets include the formulation of Coca-Cola, Listerine, and the recipe of Kentucky Fried Chicken, just to name a few. The table presents the intellectual property rights of protection and penalties of the Philippines. For copyright, the term of protection is generally the life of the author plus 50 years after his or her death. For patent, 20 years, and for trademark, 10 years from the date of the filing of the application. A violation in copyright includes fine of 50,000 up to 1.5 million pesos with an imprisonment of 1 year up to 9 years. For patent, a fine of 100,000 up to 300,000 pesos with an imprisonment of 6 months to 3 years. And lastly, for trademark, a fine of 50,000 to 200,000 pesos with imprisonment of 2 to 5 years. The natural state of data is to be copied, logged, transmitted, stored, and stored again, which is why it takes constant fighting and vigilance to prevent the breach. So, what is information privacy and how private is private? Information privacy is the relationship between the collection and dissemination of data, technology, the public expectation of privacy, and the legal and political issues surrounding them. It's also known as data privacy or data protection. With all of this information made available online and possible issues it might encounter, countries have come up with ways to protect their data from malicious individuals who might use it for illegal purposes. The Philippines, with its booming IT industry, is no exception. The Data Privacy Act of 2012 or Public Act 10173, it is the policy of the state to protect the fundamental human rights of privacy of communication while ensuring the free flow of information to promote innovation and growth. The state recognizes the vital role of information and communications technology in nation building and its inherent obligation to ensure the personal information and communication system in the government in the private sector are secured and protected. So the law defines sensitive personal information as being 1. About an individual's race, ethnic origin, marital status, age, color, and religious, philosophical, or political affiliations. About an individual's health, education, genetic, or sexual life of a person, or to any proceeding or any offense committed or alleged to have committed. Issued by government agencies to an individual such as SSS. Marked as classified by executive order or act of Congress. All processing of sensitive and personal information is prohibited except in certain circumstances. These exemptions are 1. Consent of the data subject, pursuant to law that does not require consent, necessity to protect life and health of a person, necessity for medical treatment, and lastly, necessity to protect the lawful rights of data subjects in court proceedings, legal proceedings, or regulation.